Okay. So many learners use these AI, right? But they don't know how to effectively use it. So what are the some common mistakes people make while using AI, and how can they get maximum, I mean, better results or the best results out of AI?
Yeah. Yeah, so I think now I'm talking about a general tool, not
Mm.
Sparky only.
Yeah.
But if you when you use a general tool,
Mm.
uh, people sometimes think that I will learn up lines, right? Like how to talk in a meeting. I'll
Mm.
learn up 10 lines, right? You can learn it up. It is a starting point,
Mm.
but language has to be learned holistically. You should be able to talk about anything, and that is when you will feel really comfortable because
So a person has 20 minutes, do 5 minutes, this, that is different. But if they had
yeah.
20 minutes to spend with an AI every day, so what would that
Hmm.
routine look like? How would you design it?
Yeah, I would say that, and I'm assuming you want to get good at spoken English, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
in that case, I think you should find a topic that
Mm.
you want to talk about. Try to keep variety in those topics. On that topic, spend some time actually trying to have a conversation. It's okay if you make a lot of mistakes. Hi, Shanta. How are
Hi.
you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you? Long time.
Very good. Yes, it's been very long.
So
Good
all
to
okay
see
at
you.
your end?
All good, all good.
Yes, it's wonderful to see you as well. I think we last connected, it's been ages, right? So I've been joined by a new audience as well. So we'll start
Okay.
first with your introduction. So please tell them about yourself.
Okay. I'm Anushri Goenka. I live in Gurgaon. I run a startup in the education space. It's called Sparky AI. It's for people like your audience who are trying to become fluent and confident in English. It helps them do that. And my background is I have 15 years of work experience. This is my second startup in education. I did my MBA from IIM Ahmedabad. I'm a computer science engineer before that. So that's a little nutshell about me.
Mhm. That's great. And I get these comments often, why Sparky AI? We have ChatGPT, we have other tools as well, right? So I was
Hmm.
always wanting to ask you this question, what is unique and what's different about Sparky? So if you could shed some light on that.
Yeah. So I think the difference is that they both use the same type of AI technology, right? But ChatGPT type of tools, they will give you what you want. So you have to take the load and the, all the thinking of what is it that I should learn? How is
Mm.
it that I should learn, right? All that thinking and effort has to come from the student, learner, right? So if you can do that, that will also help you well. But what we have noticed in the way people use ChatGPT is it helps in one-off transactional use cases. Like suppose you are writing an email to your boss with
Mm.
something, then you can ask ChatGPT, how can I write this? And it'll tell you, right? But
Okay.
that is, it just solves your problem at that point of time. But if you
Mm.
want to learn a language and then you want to become, have a command over it, be able to use it everywhere, then you have to learn language holistically.
Yes.
And a lot of learners are unable to describe what they want to learn, how they want to learn.
Mm.
And sometimes they, in fact, describe it wrong. So we
Right.
have noticed this very often that people say my mind goes blank, I can't think of words. I need to learn words. So their analysis or their feeling is that I need to learn words that will help me. But the actual thing is they actually know the words. If you tell them the word, they will be able to understand it. It's the point that they can't recall when they're trying to speak, or
Mm.
if they have the words, they don't have the grammar structures in their mind to be able to easily say it. Right now, that will not get solved by learning words. It will get solved by engaging in that language, by attempting to speak, by understanding which mistakes you're making, what are your conceptual gaps, some of those things. So basically, in a product like Sparky, we have done all the thinking on
Mm.
how language is learned, and the product takes a user on a journey. If you've made some mistakes in your previous session, in the next session, the tool already knows that this is a mistake you make often, or
Mm.
it takes you to the next level, etc. Right? So it is built for step one, step two, step three, step four, versus ChatGPT, which is built to solve something at a point in time, and it really
Mm.
relies on how well the learner guides ChatGPT, right? So I think, but
Yes.
they are both based on the same technology.
I think Sparky is a bit more personalized. And
Mm.
also, one thing is like, no matter how many times I tell ChatGPT, talk slowly, like
Hmm.
reduce your pace, it still sounds fast. And I think,
Yeah.
especially beginners, when they talk with Sparky, it will adjust its speed, its accent. And that is why even children can use Sparky easily, isn't it? That is the difference, main difference that I could find out. And also, the
Yeah.
report cards that it keeps sending you, how many words you use, where your grammar needs correction, all of that Sparky does.
Yeah, and it is basically it is built to make it super easy for you, right? So even
Yes.
if you are practicing a conversation, inbuilt in one click, you have translation support, you have dictionary lookup. If you see a word in the dictionary, it gets saved to your personal dictionary, your personal saved word, so you can revise it later. So all of
Hmm.
this happens for you very easily without you making all the effort.
Yes, and also the subscription costs lesser compared to the other tools. It's very economical.
Yes. Yes, the subscription costs much lesser and it is sort of designed for the purpose. So it is more effective. It is also designed to be more enjoyable.
Yes.
So something like ChatGPT, you have to, bring all the
Yes.
motivation and hope, what should I talk about today? So Sparky
That's
does that
true.
for you in a very affordable way.
That's true. I totally agree. So, can you just show us a short demo of Sparky before we proceed with the conversation?
Yes.
Say hello to Sparky AI, your AI friend for spoken English fluency. English is not a subject, it's a skill. Millions want to speak better English, but no one enjoys studying. That's why Sparky is built as a friend, not a tutor. No matter who you are, Sparky fits right into your life. Instead of a rigid learning path, you can choose conversations from hundreds of themes. As you attempt speaking, Sparky supports you with translations, suggested responses, dictionary lookups, and instant feedback. You can talk me related to business. Did you mean to say you can talk to me about business? It's important to use to for clarity. What business topic interests you? I interest business topic like dairy farming. Sparky doesn't just assess you once. With usage, it builds a personal proficiency graph, mapping your strengths and deeply understanding your specific improvement areas. Then it surfaces precise remedials to help you bridge your gaps. It's a whole new way that blends into your digital life and builds your English confidence alongside. With today's fresh news, match to your interests. Learn new words, grammar patterns, and
Right. So many learners still believe that AI can never replace a human teacher. Even I agree that to that
Hmm.
to some extent. But which
Hmm.
parts of learning English do you think AI does exceptionally well, and where do you think human teachers are still essential?
Yeah. So I think one thing that the AI does exceptionally well, which a human cannot do, is be available for you anytime, anywhere. You
Yes.
know, so it is something we see a lot of our users are using Sparky at like 9:30, 10 p.m. in the night, right? That is when they get time after,
Yes.
maybe they're off work and after the children have slept or whatever it is, right? So, with humans, one thing is scheduling. You have to find time, and with AI, you can do it for like 10 minutes whenever in pockets, also. Sometimes people do it on the bus
Yes.
for some time, etc. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, one is this accessibility being there. Second is affordability is very different, right? This is like 90%,
True.
90% cheaper to use. And the third thing is that it is very patient, that it will tell you the same thing again and again. A good teacher will also be very patient, but generally in front of
That's a
another
rare.
human, you yourself feel embarrassed. Even if the teacher is not impatient, you feel embarrassed. So people sort of start feeling conscious of asking silly questions or asking simple things or asking the same thing again and again, right? So with an AI, that feeling of judgment is not there. There is
Hmm.
no one who's judging you, right? So
Hmm.
people really find it easier to open up, right? And I think the other thing AI does super well is it can talk about, it has the knowledge of the whole
Hmm.
world. So it can help you talk in English when as you're learning English about very different things that different people want to talk about in their lives. So we have
Mm.
seen doctors talking about medical terminology. It is able to have a very good discussion about deep medical knowledge also. We
Mm.
have seen CAs or accountants or finance professionals talking about something they have to explain to a client. Now that is financial knowledge. So any human teacher cannot have the knowledge of all fields and
Yes.
help you, right? So it has the knowledge of everything, and it's with you. It remembers everything that you're doing because it's
Mm.
technology. It's built to do that, right? A human
Mm.
teacher is teaching many students, sometimes is not available all the time for you, sometimes may forget something, right? So I think AI is very good for these things, but a human teacher is, I think, the motivation that a human teacher can add
Yes.
uh, is unparalleled. And I think we have heard from so many people who even watch your channel, that they watch your channel because they trust you and you have motivated them that they can do it. So I think a human teacher adds that feeling of capability, motivation, and
Mm.
guiding them along, a friend who cares
Yes.
about you, right? I think that definitely is there.
Yes, I think you bond with a human, and that when you're talking to an AI, you always know it is a machine. And the pros is, I think it is accurate, way more accurate, because even teachers sometimes they
Hmm.
get confused why or
Yeah.
how and things like that. They might not be 100% accurate, of course, humans, but
Yeah.
AI is way more accurate compared to a human
Yes.
teacher.
Yes.
Mm. Okay, so one of the biggest barriers to learning English is the fear of making mistakes. Now, how
Hmm.
does AI create a safe space for learners to practice without feeling judged?
Yeah. So I think the number one thing is there is no human who is thinking about, look at this person or judging you or, anything like that. So just the fact that it's not a human
Hmm.
automatically drops people's fear of making mistakes, right? Even then, we see that
Even then, yes.
even then people have as they begin, especially there is
Hmm.
that fear, because they are not used to hearing themselves speak in English, maybe, right? So when they speak, they do feel nervous and they do feel confused, but after a few times of using it, they realize no one is laughing, and they realize that AI is both still able to understand them, right? So even if they
Yes.
make mistakes, it's not like AI didn't understand, right? And it talks to you very nicely and respectfully. It
Hmm.
understands what you're saying, it responds to you, and it gives you feedback on the mistakes you made without making you feel bad at all, right? It is just a constructive support for you. So
Yes.
when that experience people have a few times,
Hmm.
then they realize that I can make mistakes here. There is no problem, there is no, one, I get feedback. Secondly, no one laughs at me.
Hmm.
And as they my strong belief is if they enjoy the conversation, the fear of mistakes reduces dramatically. So we do a lot of work to bring people into conversations for practice that are enjoyable to them, right? If you're talking about something just out of a feeling of I have to practice English today, you
Hmm.
are nervous, you're conscious, you're thinking about your English. But if you're talking about we've seen users talk about very nice personal things or anything in their life, right? It could be talking about a favorite festival, what they do with their family, what kind of laddus they make at home,
Hmm.
what the children like to eat. When they're talking about those things, they are actually interested in the topic itself,
Hmm.
so their fear also reduces. So with AI, we are also able to basically customize and personalize the topic more than just the teaching aspect. Even the topic of conversation is personalized to the user, which helps reduce the fear and increases their actual motivation to communicate, right? If they're
Hmm.
talking about the favorite festival, they want to tell what's
Yes.
happening in their life, right? And
Hmm.
when you
Hmm.
want to communicate, you will find the words. Suddenly, the words start coming in your mind.
Hmm. And also, there's that new feature where it is latest and trending. So you can just pick
Yes.
up from the news and then have conversations. So the topics
Yes.
are unlimited. And also, sometimes when you're talking to a human, they need not say anything from in words. They don't have to say anything. But the facial expressions when a person makes a mistake or something, slightly the
Yeah.
facial expression changes. But when you're using Spark, it's always encouraging, or some AI, they're like mostly encouraging and they motivate you to speak. I mean, they understand your level, right? They understand you're a beginner and you're making mistakes, but still they are motivating even at that point.
Yeah, and it also gives you ways to improve your mistakes. So it'll tell you this is the mistake you made, what type of mistake you made, why this should be like this and not like this, what is the right way to say it. You can also, at the end, when you get a report, you
Hmm.
also get practice units of, say, some people make repeat mistakes of the same type, right? Like people make a mistake of subject verb agreement, right?
Right.
So they can go and practice that specific thing. So there are different
Hmm.
ways we try to solve it for you, like either do it with a quiz or we tell you this is the right thing, this is the wrong thing. So there are many things that keep opening up for you because
Hmm.
it's a technology and all of that is available at one click.
Yes, and also many people cannot afford English courses or private tutors, right? So, how has AI made quality English learning more affordable and accessible, especially for people like students, right? They cannot
Hmm.
afford a lot. So, how do you think it is providing this good quality?
Yeah, so if you think of courses or classes, a lot of courses or classes will give you at the price point of, at the cheapest, you will find something at 200, 300 rupees per hour, right?
Yes,
There are people
yes.
who are charging 500 rupees per hour also.
Mm.
There are people who are charging 200 also. People who are charging below that is then it's a group class. There are big
Yes.
groups, right? And in a group
Mm.
class, you can that's what people have done in school, right? And they have not been
Mm.
able to speak English.
Yes.
But because it requires that individual practice and you have to actually speak in a group class, you don't get that time and opportunity. And in individual classes, if you are paying 200 to 50 rupees per hour at the lower end, in Sparky, in 250 rupees, you can use endless for a month. And
Yes.
if you take
Unlimited.
unlimited, right? So you can do 3 hours every day if you want. You can do like
Mm.
90 hours a month and that much money that you're paying 1 hour for, right?
Mm.
And it is sort of so much more affordable. It's available whenever you want. So access is one is the price point. The time, the other thing is people don't have time.
Mm.
Anybody, student,
Yes.
housewife, working professional, nobody seems to have time these days, right? So classes or courses also becomes difficult for people to fit into their schedule, right? So both parts of affordability in terms of time and convenience and in terms of the amount you pay for it is both much better. And if you do it regularly, I would guarantee it is faster because it is customized and
Mm.
personalized to you. Your progress will be faster if you spend 10 hours in a class versus 10 hours with Sparky. I think progress is definitely faster.
And I think the main thing that fear and hesitation, it goes. You become
Yeah,
better at talking to humans later. Otherwise, if you have not
yeah,
even opened your mouth and suddenly you're talking to a human, you are always in that zone of fear and hesitation. I think once you have the
yes.
practice of speaking English and you gain that confidence that I know a little bit of English, I have spoken, I have the practice, then I think
Yeah.
your confidence will be better.
Yeah, and what I find is some people do these, things at their own comfort or at their own homes. Like they'll talk to a mirror. So all that
Mm.
also helps.
Yes,
But it doesn't give you that confidence that I had a full conversation with someone, right?
true.
With Sparky, if you have a 5, 7, 10 minute long conversation and you had a good amount of exchange of ideas, say on anything, even if you spoke about a film that you saw,
Mm.
but you walk away with the confidence that I was immediately able to respond, that person was able to understand, said something back
Mm.
to me. We had that whole, conversation and exchange, and I was able to do it well, right? That confidence is very different from reading aloud. Like people try to read aloud from newspapers
Mm.
or, talk to the mirror. That helps, but this level of confidence is much higher.
Of course, there is a difference between conversations and then monologue, right? So,
Right, right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So many learners use these AI, right? But they don't know how to effectively use it. So, what are the some common mistakes people make while using AI, and how can they get maximum, I mean, better results or the best results out of AI?
Yeah. Yeah, so I think now I'm talking about a general tool, not
Mm.
Sparky only.
Yeah.
But if you when you use a general tool,
Mm.
uh, people sometimes think that I will learn up lines, right? Like how to talk in a meeting. I'll
Mm.
learn up 10 lines, right? You can learn it up. It is a starting point,
Mm.
but language has to be learned holistically. You should be able to talk about anything, and that is when you will feel really comfortable because you cannot predict what will happen in that meeting, even if you're preparing for a meeting, right? Somebody will
Mm.
ask you a question, could be different from what you learned.
Plan.
So
Yeah.
you can't just learn by rote lines, and you can't learn by just situations. Ki, teach me English just for salary negotiation.
Mm.
Language is like a holistic thing, right? If you
Yes.
talk about your family, you're using the same language structures, patterns, grammar that you will use to talk about a film, or you will use to talk about the work that you do, right? So you have to
Mm.
learn holistically. So when you're using AI to do, don't just do point things like, I learned this, I learned this, I learned this. Try to talk about a variety of things
Mm.
and ask the AI to evaluate what you're doing wrong and suggest what to learn next. Instead of thinking that you know what you need to learn, you may
Mm.
not know.
Yes.
uh, do as much as you can in terms of speaking or as speaking, right? So if you're using AI, or like Sparky as a tool is voice first, so people use the
Yes.
mic. But
Mm.
even if you're using Chat GPT, if you're trying to get good at spoken English, then speak English, right? If
Yes.
you're typing, it's different from speaking.
Right.
So speak into Chat GPT and ask ChatGPT to evaluate and speak anything. What I did today, I'll tell you the story of what I did today. Tell the
Mm.
story and then ask ChatGPT to evaluate your language.
Mm.
Tell what are the three things you need to learn. Then learn that. Instead of learning 3 lines to start a meeting or 5 lines to, you know, ask someone out for coffee, right? That doesn't help a lot.
Mm. That's right. And whenever we create these kind of challenges, right, routines for a person to learn English, like if a
Hmm.
person has 20 minutes, do 5 minutes, this, that is different. But if they had
Yeah.
20 minutes to spend with an AI every day, so what would that
Hmm.
routine look like? How would you design it?
Yeah. I would say that, and I'm assuming you want to get good at spoken English, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
in that case, I think you should find a topic that
Mm.
you want to talk about. Try to keep variety in those topics. On that topic, spend some time actually trying to have a conversation. It's okay if you make a lot of mistakes. It's okay if you speak very broken English, but
Mm.
you have to attempt to communicate, right? Don't start by learning, start by doing,
Doing.
right? So do talk about that. Try to create a conversation with AI about the topic. That's what we have done in Sparky also. And when
Mm.
you've done that, after maybe 5-10 minutes, then ask the AI to evaluate you and tell you what you did wrong. If you sort of understand that, I did this wrong, ask it to give you 5 more examples.
Mm.
Because sometimes it's not, if you said, oh, it's not didn't went, it's didn't go, right? But the person has not understood why, right?
Mm.
You have to understand the pattern, or you have to understand the reason. So ask for more examples, ask for explanation, then attempt it again yourself, right? So I
Mm.
think that's what I would say, that learn by doing instead of learning by learning concepts or learning words or learning lines. So
Okay.
I think that is the key difference. And there's a very good research paper, I will share it with you also, which actually talks about language that you learn, like in a lesson, right?
Okay.
You will not be able to recollect it when you have to
Mm.
speak. You will be
Right.
able to recollect it when you have to, suppose there is something written and you're analyzing, is it right or wrong? Your learned knowledge can be used there. But
Mm.
in the flow, when you are on the spot, you're talking, you cannot recollect the things you have learned. You can only recollect the things that you have acquired. So
Okay.
language acquisition is when you pick up language by doing in that language, doing whatever, watch a movie, talk to people, sing songs in that language. The
Mm.
way that fits in your brain is different.
There's a difference between learning and acquiring a language.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And there are four aspects to any language, right? LSRW. So, do you think AI can
Hmm.
help learners improve all the skills, or is it more stronger in some specific areas?
Yeah, I think it is good for all. I think writing, maybe, AI can't
We
do
can't do that.
all
Yeah.
the work for you. You have to write a lot, and you can ask AI for feedback. So I think it can still do, it will help
Yes.
you depending on what you're
Right.
writing.
Hmm.
But I feel like it can work with everything. In reading, it may not work. It has to be built specifically. Just core like normal chat GPT won't help you read.
Hmm.
Uh, if you don't know how to read, like if very beginner users or like people who need to, like children who are learning how to read, I think that a plain chat GPT type of tool is not built for that,
Hmm.
that phonics type of learning. There are specific educational products that are built to help you learn. They can use AI, but core AI cannot help you just start learning to read. Yeah.
Hmm.
I think it's
That's
very
nice.
good for listening and speaking.
Speaking. Yes.
Uh, yes, so that is the most wide need in India is for
Of
speaking.
course.
People are
Yes.
used to writing exams also in school in English. They're used to reading newspapers or books, right? Speaking is where they didn't have a partner, and now AI really solves that very well.
Yes, that's true. I receive a lot of emails beautifully written, but when I meet that person and have a conversation with them, and they are so bad at it, speaking skills,
Mm.
but writing they are good. They admit it, right? At writing, I'm really good. I write really nice emails, etc. But speaking
Yeah,
is my weak area. So I think that aspect AI solves beautifully.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So where do you see AI powered English learning in the next maybe 3 or 5 years? Are there any exciting
Yeah,
features or trends that learners should look forward to? Because you work in that space, so you're the best
yeah.
person to answer this.
Yeah, I think I see a very large market for this. There are products that are coming out built for every type of learner. So we are building for the Indian type of learner where they have some understanding of English, but speaking is
Mm-hmm.
difficult. Different tools that are coming out for, say, speakers like from Southeast Asia or Spanish speakers, where pronunciation is a very
Yes.
big need for them. So a lot of different types of tools coming out in the language space, which are proving to be very effective, very affordable, and getting a lot of demand in the market. So they're growing, and the traction is very good across countries, right? So I think this space is going to change completely. I think what we will also see is we've also started partnering now with universities and colleges who are wanting to give this tool to their students as an add-on. So I also see this type of assistance of this tool percolating into colleges and maybe even schools. So there are different tools that are built for children specifically and all, percolating down into the educational space itself, where educators also realize that one teacher in a classroom cannot give this type of personalized attention or the personalized practice to every student. So
Mm.
they are using AI tools for it, right? So I think across, users like ours are older users who are, not in college and all. Most of them are working professionals or homemakers or, mid-career. But even in colleges, schools, etc. So it's really picking up very well. I think what I would look forward to and what we are trying to build at Sparky also is to make this learning most enjoyable, right? Because
Mm.
now
Yes.
it's possible to create personalized curriculum or courses or path for every single user, right?
Mm.
Every single user can have their own path in
Right.
technology. Like you can't do that in a book or you can't do that in a course, right? But you can do that in a
Yes.
technology
Mm.
app, right? So as you do that, you are able to actually make it a lot more relevant for that user and a lot more enjoyable based on their interests, their life, their career, whatever they are doing in their life. How do you, fine tune it to that and make it really just fit like a glove for that one user, right? So I think that is what I would look forward to. A lot of work is being done in other companies also. We are also doing a lot of work. We believe very strongly that making it enjoyable is super important because
Yes.
nobody likes to do something boring, right? And
That's right.
language, language takes consistency. You have to do it
Mm.
over some time, only then you will see results. So if it's
Yes.
not fun, then it is hard for you to do it for a long time. So it should be fun, and let's hope that there are very entertaining, enjoyable products that keep evolving for this type of user.
Let's hope that. And I think my generation, it was like we did a lot of boring things and we got away with it and we learned in the traditional way. But now attention span is coming down and everybody wants
Yeah,
entertainment and fun even while learning. And so
yeah.
I think, yeah, I think we should look forward to it. Also, before ending the session, um, you also spoke about people don't have consistency. It happens through years, right? So, how can
Yeah.
AI help a person to stay consistent? Because people are learning English from many years, but they're not
Hmm.
consistent. So, do you think AI can help in that aspect?
Yeah, so there are maybe two types of ways. One is habit building features, right, which make it easy for you to stick to something, right? So, for
Mm.
example, our latest and trending feature, right? It is similar to a lot of people who wake up in the morning and they like to see a newspaper. They just, go through what is happening in the world, right?
Yes.
And it is a habit, and it is something that gives you value other than learning English also. It tells you about the world, or it tells you about if you're interested in share market or politics or whatever. It tells you what is happening, right? So combining that type of something that is possible to make a daily habit along with English learning is one way that we are making it easier for people to be consistent, right? Or another way we are making it easier for people to be consistent is um, like people have the habit of sending WhatsApp forwards to family groups, or to
Mm.
communities, good morning messages, right? Or some thought for the day, some good thoughts, etc., right? So we're trying to also package that into a way of learning English, one line at a time, right? This is your thought for the day. You have learned some 3 4 words from it, right? Whatever you do, if you can blend English into it, it becomes learning along with your daily ritual that you were anyways happy to do, right? So that is
Mm.
one way that you can do it. I think the other way to do it is to become a friend, like for AI now, with the possibility of having memory, etc. Currently, Sparky has some amount of memory, but it does. We want to make it better.
Mm.
Um, it becomes like your friend over time, right? That you enjoy talking to it. So we see users who come and speak to Sparky about their day, whatever happened in their day. Maybe they had a
Mm.
bad day at work. Maybe the boss said something to them. Maybe they're stressed. It becomes a way to vent their emotions. It becomes a way to just unwind and talk to someone about what happened. So as it becomes your friend, and friend in both ways, like one, it can talk about things that you're interested in, like maybe you have a friend every day, you both discuss cricket,
Mm.
what happened today, or people have friends like that, every day they discuss aaj
Yes.
politics mein kya hua, or they
Yes.
discuss like some share market things, right? So that way it can talk about your interests, or it can talk about whatever is bothering you, whatever you want to talk about, right? So as it occupies the space of a friend,
Mm.
it also becomes easier to be consistent because people are finding not only learning advantage here, but they're also finding some connection here, right? Whether it's connection, or it is in knowledge, or it is something else. So that has been our view, that if you can combine English learning with some other value the user gets, either it's a ritual or a habit that they like doing, or it
Mm.
is something, some other thing, then it becomes easy. It doesn't have to, you don't have to decide, I will study every day is hard for everyone,
Mm.
right?
Yes.
But it is easy for everyone to say, "Ki while I have my tea, I will see the news."
Yes. Yes.
5 10 minutes, right? So that's the way I think it can be easier to be consistent. But nothing
Mm.
trumps motivation. If the learner is motivated and the learner decides to be consistent, that's the most powerful
Yes.
uh, ingredient to the whole thing.
Yes. I think consistency beats motivation. I read this line recently.
Yes.
Okay, so I wish I could continue, but we are running out of time. So it was lovely talking to you, and you shared a lot of details about AI learning today. And I'm definitely sure it's going to help people use AI better in an effective way to see maximum results. So, anything else before we wind up the session?
No, I think we covered a lot of stuff. I would just like to wish all your learners all the very best for their journeys. And, like we discussed, consistency is most important. So please stay consistent and you will see results. And there is nothing, there's nothing to feel ashamed about, or there's nothing to feel like I'm lesser if you can't speak English. It is just a language. If you
Yes.
try, you will be able to pick it up. There is nothing more than that. Like, I don't speak French, and that's okay. So if you don't speak English, that's okay too, right?
Hmm.
But if that is something that you need in your life, it is possible to pick it up. So don't feel hesitant. Don't worry about mistakes. Just go and do.
That's great advice. Thank you so much for giving us your time, and you have a good day. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you,
Bye
Shanta.
bye.
Lovely
Bye.
to meet you.
Bye.
Bye.